It is so hard to choose a delay pedal because there are hundreds of options out there. So if you are confused on which delay pedal you should get, this is the video for you. I'm going to give you 13 tips and things to look out for when buying your first delay pedal. This is the ultimate delay pedal buying guide. Number 1, which delay type do you like the most? Do you like digital delays? They are clean and pristine, and it's just an exact replica of what you just played. Or maybe you like analog delays the most. They sound darker and warmer, or maybe you like tape delays the most. They are vintage and they sound like the repeats are broken a little bit. So this is all different flavors of repeats, and you gotta identify which one do you like the most, and it's gonna help you a lot to narrow it down to fewer pedals because of that. Number 2, do you want a single or multi-effect unit? Some pedals have only one type of delay available. It's like a one-trick pony. I do digital delays. But you have also many pedals that have a myriad of different modes. So for example, on my Strymon Timeline, I have access to digital and analog and tape, but also lots of other modes, like for example, a lo-fi mode, or a reverse mode. Or maybe adding tremolo on the repeats. And many other kinds of modes, so it depends. Do you want to use your delay as an always-on pedal that has just one mode, just for a little ambience on top of your solos or something? Or do you want to use it as a songwriting tool to get many different types of sounds and textures and colors that you can use in your songs? So if it is the former, you should get a single unit, and if it's the latter, you should get a multi-effect delay pedal. Number 3, do you need presets? Like I just said, if you use it as an always-on delay, you don't need any presets. Or if you use an always-on delay on top of your solos and just one more setting for a little bit of atmosphere on your clean chords, maybe you could take a pedal and choose a pedal with a favorite switch where you can toggle between your favorite setting and the settings on the pedal, and that might be enough for you. And if you want hundreds of presets and experiment with many different sounds, then you have many stomp boxes like I have right here, where I have bank 33 and I can go up to bank 50 or bank 100 and get access to hundreds of presets. So do you need presets? Number 4, do you need a tap tempo? Do you need to change your tempos really frequently during a song? It's much easier when you can use a tap tempo and just tap your 1, 2, 3, 4, your tempo, and because if you need to change your tempos often and you don't have a tap tempo, you have to bend down and twist the time knob to get your tempo right, and it's not really productive. It's not really the best way to get that. And more than that, if you got a tap tempo, you can actually sometimes have access to different subdivisions on your tap tempo. So for example, if I want to play dotted 8 delays on my pedal right here, I can go into settings, I can choose the tap subdivision, change it from quarter notes to dotted 8 setting. And now if I need to play dotted 8s live, it's gonna be super easy. I just need to tap my real tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just play 8 notes. And and now I can play my dotted eighths really easily. So do you need a tap tempo? Do you need access to dotted eighth subdivisions easily through a tap tempo? That's something to keep in mind. Number 5, mono or stereo delay pedal. If you have just one amp, you should get a mono pedal because it's not going to make a difference if you don't play with 2 amps in your setup, right? But you might want to still get a stereo pedal if you know you want to eventually upgrade to a stereo setup with 2 amps. And if you have a stereo pedal, you can play with things like a ping pong mode. So now you need headphones to really hear how it's gonna go from left to right, but you have access to ping pong. Left to right here, and even if you don't play with ping pong delays, it's really nice to have a spread of the modulation on the delays go and swirl from left to right to widen the stereo spectrum, right? So this is the stereo version right here. And this is the mono version. So that makes a huge difference to me. So mono or stereo pedal. Number 6, do you want to get access to a looper? Nowadays, many delay pedals have extra functions like access to a looper. So for example, I can click on the tap tempo right here, and I'm brought into looper modes, and then I can just have fun by overdubbing stuff and playing with my delays like... an overdub. So it can be a lot of fun to play through a looper like this, and you don't have to actually buy a dedicated looper pedal. It comes with your delay pedal. So do you want a looper? Number 7, does it have modulation controls? Sometimes delay pedals have just a button or a switch to add modulation, and it's never the sweet spot that you want. It ends up sounding like this. It's like either too fast or too present or too much depth. So do you have a modulation knob that is dynamic and gradual, or do you have access to multiple parameters to get the modulation that you want? For example, here I have modulation speed and depth, so I can go slower and deeper if I want on the modulation, so that it's not like to like sounding like a toy or something. So now it's gonna sound plenty of modulation, but it's more controlled in this way. It's more to my liking. So do you have modulation controls? Number 8, what is the maximum delay time available? If you want to create soundscapes or play with frippertronics or techniques where you need to have long and spaced out delays or create an almost like looping feeling with it, you need really long delays. So if I twist the time knob right here, I have a maximum of 2.5 seconds of delay. So that's going to sound like this. Right? And you can play with that. And you might even want more, like that was 2.5 seconds, but you might want 5 seconds or like 20 seconds. It really depends on the pedals. And it depends on the delay type also. A digital delay usually can go longer, but an analog delay is a lot shorter. So if I go on the analog mode on my timeline right here, and I go to the maximum, it's 800 milliseconds. So the digital are 3 times as long than the analog, so keep that in mind too. Number 9, it's the opposite. What's the minimum delay time available? And this one is often overlooked, but it is powerful. If the pedal can go really, really fast, you can actually bypass the delay and use the delay pedal for its other function. So for example, if I go on the fastest mode on my pedal right here, I can go to 2 milliseconds delay. It is so fast that you don't even hear there's a delay anymore. So I can use the speed and depth and modulation controls and EQ controls to create other effects, like a chorus effect right now. It's gonna sound like this. And without it, it's going to sound like this. So it adds a chorus effect, and I can use it for its lo-fi parameters or something. So if I do something like this, it's going to sound all warped and lo-fi. So it's really cool. If you want to know more about this technique, I have another lesson on the upper card that you can click on to learn more. Number 10, is the pedal true bypass or buffered bypass, or do you have access to each modes? First of all, you might want to have a buffered bypass pedal if you have lots of pedals on your board, because the buffer is going to keep the integrity of your signal intact, or if you have lots of true bypass pedals on your board. But it's not only because of that, it's because if you want the delay to still trail when you disengage the pedal or when you change patches. So for example, now if this is in true bypass mode, if I play and I disengage, it's gonna kill the delay repeats, right? But if I am in buffered bypass mode, if I play that and I disengage, it is still trailing in the background, right? So you gotta know, do you need to disengage the pedal and still have the trails and the feedback or the decay still going on from the pedal, or when you change patches? And some pedals can have access to both. Right here, if I go in the global settings of the pedal, I can go to the bypass mode and I can choose buffered or true bypass. And even if I use one or another, like let's say I use the buffered bypass, I can still go in the settings of the patch itself and then choose the persist mode. So if I am off, it's going to kill the repeats when I change to a different patch or if I disengage, but I can put it on also. So it really depends on the pedal, but it's great to know, do you need a true bypass or buffered bypass pedal? Number 11, self-oscillating. Do you want to play psychedelic music and have the delays feed on themselves and twist and turn the knobs and do some really crazy things? You gotta make sure that the repeats knob goes to self-oscillation and beyond so that it sounds like this. and do crazy stuff like this. So self-oscillation. Number 12, size and price. If you want all the functions we've seen in this video, of course it's gonna be a more expensive pedal. If you want it to be in stereo with a tap tempo that can do many subdivisions, and you want a multi-effect unit with every type of repeats imaginable and delay types, and you want a looper on it, and like it's gonna cost more. It's probably going to be like $450 plus tax plus shipping, so it's a big investment. Of course, you have smaller pedals like the Electro Harmonix Canyon that has many delay types on it. You can even do like a tap tempo thing with the foot switch right here. You have access to a basic looper. For a pedal under $200, it can be a great bang for your buck. But it doesn't have everything, right? You cannot have access to presets. It's not a stereo pedal. It's not really practical to do the tap tempo in this way right here. So you cannot get everything. And as far as the size, do you have space on your pedal board, right? Most of the times, the big multi-effects unit are gonna be big pedals that are gonna take the space of 2 or 3 pedals on your board, so you got to keep that in mind too. And my last tip at number 13 is just pick a pedal and make music. It's easy to spend like 3 weeks of research to find the perfect pedal for us and watching hundreds of demos on YouTube. But at a certain point, a delay is a delay is a delay. It's a pedal that's gonna repeat what you're playing. It's just many different flavors and types and functions. But at the end of the day, it's gonna do exactly the same thing from pedal to pedal. So you can just choose one, like make some research just for a few hours, go watch a few demos, go download a few instruction manuals, and just pick one and make music with it. And if in the future you experience some limitations, you are not married to your pedal, right? You can always change it in the future. I know there are so many options that it's easy to get paralyzed and not make a decision, but I'm here to say that just make a decision and make music, and it's gonna be much better. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to actually learn how to set up your delay pedal to make ambient guitar music and great textures, I invite you to check out my free mini course. It's the first link in the description box. It's called A Beginner's Guide to Ambient Guitar, and I'm gonna show you how to set up your delay to make volume swells and a good clean tone with it. And I even have some recommendations of pedals in the course depending on your budget. So you can check it out, first link in the description box. It's totally free. It's my gift to you for watching my video until the end. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in a new video real soon. Until next time, au revoir.